How's it going, everyone? This is Jimmy Perry here with the PowerPlay podcast, hosted on powerlifting.website. Um, Redoing answers, and I'm going over this one, and it is, even though it's a seasonal, it's a, I guess, time-based answer. It is how are powerlifters maintaining squat strength during lockdown, or how to maintain muscle mass during a lockdown or any lockdown. When you don't have weights, that's a lockdown. When you don't, well, it's not a lockdown, but when you don't have weights, that's what I'm referring to. Um, or access to a gym. So, so when you don't have access to a gym, how do you maintain that squat strength? And well, that's when you start getting creative. Like when you don't have those weights, you have to start thinking of other ways. You're thinking of other things you could potentially lift. And the first idea I had was using alternative weights because even though you're not in the gym, you're always near something heavy, whether it's a couch or the couch isn't heavy enough. But like if you squat 600 pounds, lifting a couch ain't gonna do nothing for you. It's not an immovable object. You can lift that easily. You squat down a little, you can deadlift that. That's not. Or so you can get a bit creative, but you can use static holds. It's a few. You got a few options. The first one I didn't mention yet because it's not something that I would do, and especially during the pandemic, I couldn't do it. So, first one is buy gym equipment. Then you could begin using alternative weights, which I already touched on a little bit, and then you could change your focus. Didn't touch on that, but that's another thing. That's what you could do. You could do change your, to use alternative weights and change your focus at the same time, and you can do a bunch of these at the same time. So or a few of these at the same time. I got three options. If you see anything I missed, you feel free to comment or please comment or message me or whatever and let me know what's going on so I can add it. First one and the first and the easiest, albeit the more expensive option you have is you could always purchase your own gym equipment. Now it's the most expensive because gym equipment isn't cheap, or I guess it is, but like for the average person, it's not cheap. Like a plates, I mean, they can get up there in price, like 45-pound plates, and I'm assuming you're talking 45-pound plates because you're a weightlifter, so I'm assuming you're lifting kind of heavy. 45-pound plates I've seen, and the quality 45-pound plates I found they cost around $100. Wouldn't opt for them. I would actually opt for plastic ones because not I guess, but they're a bit more accurate. Like metal plates, they're a toss up because you can't tell how heavy they are. And then you got collars. You need collars. They're not that expensive. They can cost you around $15. A plate to cost you around $100 for the 45-pound ones. These are on Amazon. I didn't look anywhere else. I mean, I know. I mean, for like the higher brand ones, like Rogue and stuff like that, you're gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be going because I know Rogue. That's a good quality brand barbell. I always look the or good quality. They make good quality material. Like Elite FTS, they make good quality material. So if they put their all into something, I get they want their all's worth of quality. So, and then there's barbells, which I just talked about. These one I found or the ones I saw, I wouldn't cheap out on these because I've seen like barbells bend under people's like under heavy weights. You don't want that to happen. Um, so they're around 200 for a barbell. And again, don't cheap out on this. You can cheap out on collars. I know you don't want barbell or plates to fall off of a barbell because the collar is too loose. You can cheap out on plates, but you want accuracy. Even though, I mean, for the average person, cheap plate will work because it's just a plate. You're not like a professional. You're not competing or nothing like that. I mean, if you are competing, then you might want accurate plates. And then there's safeties. You don't want to hurt yourself. I've believe me, just listen to me. I've had barbells fall on my chest. I've been in situations where barbells almost fell on my head. You don't want like live to lift another day. You don't want to kill yourself under a weight. Like that's like the worst thing that could happen. So it's one of the worst things that could happen. So in an effort to avoid that, just get some safeties. They help you in the squat and in the deadlift because if you fail a squat, you don't want to be stuck under the weight, have it fall into the safeties. If you fail a bench press, you don't want to fall on your head or on your chest. Just, just get the safeties. And those, I believe, those cost around $100 too. So we're looking at 200 plus 100, 300 plus 300 plus 15 times 2, that's 330 plus another 100, that's 430. And then the bench, that was around $100 too, so that's 530. And then you're gonna need more plates. And like the plates are 100 a piece, so if the plates are 100 a piece, and you squat 600 pounds, you might not need 600 pounds worth of. I mean, if you're buying equipment, then it's gonna be. This is the more permanent option, so you're gonna want enough to be able to progress, so you don't have to buy anymore. So I mean, you're gonna be spending. So it's not really 430. That's I didn't even count all of them, so I counted. So one plate is $100. If you're getting 6 plates, no, not 6 plates. You need more because 600 pound deadlift, a 600 pound squat. So we're saying if you squat 600 pounds, 445 times a barbell is gonna weigh 50 pounds. What's 550 divided by 2? That's 225. 225 divided by 45. 225 divided by 45. So that's 2 plates. So you're gonna need 5 plates. So that's 10 plates. 10 times 45. That's 450. I'm wrong. You're gonna need 12 plates. That's 6 on each side. So it's gonna get up there. That's $1,200. So that's another option. Or you can just go to the gym or wait to go to the gym and use one of these other options. And then you're gonna use pads if you're deadlifting. If you're not deadlifting, then you might not need pads. But I wouldn't take the risk of having something fall on the ground, having a 45-pound plate fall on the ground, repeated or consistent or on a regular basis, and messing up the foundation of your basement or wherever you're working out at. And I'm sure you might want to also ask like a landlord or whoever if you can work out you doing this in their property, because you don't want to damage their stuff. So consider that. Then there's alternative weights. This is my favorite option, or one of my favorite options, because not everyone has the funds to build their own gym. I didn't have the funds to build my own gym, so but I did have access to something heavy. So I used a car. So what I did was, and then also consider, before you do this, consider that progress will look a bit different. You're not gonna be. So when I use alternative weights, I use static holds, and because two things are static in this hold: the weight you're gonna be using and the force you're exerting. Because you're gonna be exerting, you're gonna be so you're gonna squat against the weight of the car, and you're gonna try and hold it for however a predetermined amount of time. So, for instance, I would get into the squat position in the front of the car. So make sure my hips are low enough so that I'm not deadlifting the car up and using my lower back and pulling something, hurting myself. To make sure my hips are parallel with my knees. Squat down to that position, and then using my arms as hooks and facing away from the car. I grab the front end of the car and press up with my legs, or drive my heels into the ground, and I hold that for 30 seconds and repeat it for 2 or 3 reps. And I did that once a week, and I did it once a week because I'm using all of my strength, and I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to pull anything, knowing that I can't move this weight, and I just want to keep my strength up there. So, and you can do that with any of the movements, not just squats. So you can do that with the bench press. You can do that with the deadlift. Deadlift, all you're doing is raising your hips a little bit. And I mean, and I was thinking, this isn't just an example of an alternative way. You can use barrels. You can use a few things. So, yeah. And then another option is changing your focus. Now, you don't have to, if it's kind of difficult if you don't have weights, it'll be kind of difficult to maintain strength because you don't have the same weight that you would use you don't have the same weight that would you don't have a heavy enough you don't have access to a weight heavy enough to maintain that strength. I mean, of course you can do a number of reps to that would equate to that strength. So if you do 10 reps with something that weighs 400 pounds, it's a little different because you wouldn't be progressing even then. I mean, you could. Another thought I had was and I'm sorry, you going back to what I was saying before, but you can also go. I was thinking about going to a dump and getting stuff to use like tires and stuff like that, and just working with heavy things. and then designing a program around that. So having a strongman-esque program, and that would help me. I mean, that would allow you to, get stronger and keep, stay fit. So, and having a strongman as program, it's kind of, I mean, I guess you would know, because if you weigh like that, if you weigh whatever it is you were lifting at the beginning and then progressed with that, like, so we're able to do more reps or more sets or cut down however long it took you to recover or whatever like that, then you know you're getting stronger. Even if at the beginning you weren't able to lift it, and then, I mean, it is just difficult, because how would you prepare? How would you prepare for prep to lift something that is heavier than you're able to lift if you don't have access to a different, like, assortment of tools? So that's gonna be kind of difficult. But then another one is change your focus. So if you can't get stronger, get more fit. So raise your endurance levels of endurance, or get more muscle mass. Like, that was my thing. I switched to more muscle mass. I switched to more mass in general. I'm 160 pounds, and that's resting. So I need to up my weight, and eventually when I get back to lifting heavy weights, then I will be stronger because I have more mass, and it's like lean mass. So, and I did that with using exercise bands. I wrote a book about it on here. It's a short book, so I wrote it like an ebook on here, and I linked out to it in the post that talked about using bands instead of like using bands in place of weights, and just switching up tempo and things like that with the bands. And then that's how you know you progress. So at the beginning, you're doing push-ups with 100 pounds on your back or something like that, and you're able to do like 40 push-ups or 20 push-ups, and then you up it to 50 push-ups and 60 push-ups, and then you do that for a few sets, and you know you progress, and then eventually you'll get stronger. You're gonna gain mass because you're fatiguing your muscles, and when I say that, I mean at the beginning. So for me, using bands, I couldn't do a single like full-blown push-up with bands. But then, like, now, and I just sport rep. Like, I was doing quarter push-ups, like half push-ups, and then eventually I progressed to a push-up, and then I progressed to doing a set of 10 full-blown push-ups, and then I progressed to doing a set of 30 full-blown push-ups, 50 full-blown push-ups with bands, 60 full-blown push-ups, 70 full-blown push-ups. And I'm exaggerating because I was always able to do a push-up, but you're just seeing how the progression works. And yeah, thank you. So switch to, for change your focus, I'm just going to reiterate, you can also go back, you can switch to high volume for endurance, or high volume for mass, or work on a sticking point with your with the bands. So I was using, like I said, using bands. It doesn't have to be bands for you, but for me, I was using bands, and I knew that my sticking point and my push-ups was like the point right off or my bench was the point right off the floor, and that's the same thing with the, like, that's the equivalent of a quarter push-up. So I did things. It's kind of like a pal-off press or something like that, or a floor press. Not a floor press. The press where, I forget the name of the press, but the press where the beginning movement is like not on your chest, it's on the bar, and you're just trying to press from that point. Like, that's the sticking. That's working on. That's a movement that works from the sticking point. So stuff like that, or with the squat, or not really squat, or with the deadlift, my lower back. So I would use that. I would do good mornings with bands, and I know my lower back is my sticking point with my deadlift, or my I'm using too much in my upper back. So I was just mainly, I'm saying, like, just able to work on different parts of the body, and I be able to do that without using regular conventional weight. I'm using bands. Thank you for listening. You hear from me next time. Please follow the Quora, listen to the podcast, check out the site. If you're looking for any training, feel free to check that out. I have a form on the site for you to look at and fill out for you, and so we can get in touch. Thank you, and yeah, hear from me next time. Peace.